Okay, so this is just a quick tutorial on a few different text effects in Adobe Illustrator. So the first thing you want to do is obviously open up Adobe Illustrator. Once you have it open, you're going to come over to New File and you're going to select A4. So to do that, just select Print up the top and then come down and select A4 there. If you don't have that option, you can always select the drop down here, come down to centimeters and then type in those values there. Once you have all that, we are going to call this text effect 1, and we are going to change the background color by selecting here, and then we're just going to choose a dark shade of red. Once you have all that, click create. So I'm going to show you how to type on a path. I'm going to show you with a zigzag and with a squiggle. We'll start with the zigzag shape. So you're going to want to use the pen tool over on the left here just by left selecting it, or you can also press P. And then you're just going to draw out a little lightning bolt shape as best as you can just by left clicking and then dragging your mouse. So I'm going to do 3 points like you can see here, and then I'm going to press escape or enter when I am done. Once you've done your shape, you just want to come over to the selection tool by pressing V, or you can left click it here. You're going to want to select the shape and turn off the fill. And then I'm also going to change the stroke color to white. Once you have that done, you just want to select the shape. Press T or come over to the left here and select the type tool. And then you just want to click on the path where you want your text to start, and you should have that effect applied like so. What we're going to do for the text on this is we are just going to type out our name. Full name will probably look better. Once we have our name typed out, we're going to press Command or Control A to select the text. And then we're going to change the font. So find a font that you like. And we're going to change the size. And we're also going to change the color. So for the context of this tutorial, I would just go red and white. So white text and a red background. Once you have all that done, you're going to press Command C to copy your name. And then you're just going to paste it various times by pressing Command or Control V on this line here. Cool. Now the point we're at, we can see the effect applied, but I would say it's not very legible in the context of where we're going with this graphics unit. So there's just one more effect we need to apply to this shape layer. So you just want to select the shape, come up to type up the top here. You want to come down to type on a path, and then you want to select the skew effect, and I think that will look much better in the context of where we are going with these projects. So that's much easier to read and use within a logo design. Cool. Once you've done that, you're just going to scale it down and put it somewhere in this artboard. Cool. To do this next effect, we are going to use the pencil tool. So you can just press N, or you can come over to the left here and select the pencil tool. I want you to double click it first and make sure that your fidelity is turned up to smooth. Then like before, rather than the zigzag, we're going to just draw a S shape, like a backwards S. We're going to up the stroke to 1. And then we're going to select that shape again. Press T or select the type tool. And then we're going to click on that path. You'll notice that it should have picked up the font and formatting options that you did before. And then again, you're just going to want to Command or Control V and paste your name around that shape. Once you have that done, you're going to apply the same effect. So press V, select the shape, come up to type, come down to type on path, and then select skew. I'm now going to pull back the layer from before, and then you can see how these two different text effects work next to each other. Okay, for this second effect, you're going to want to create a new document. So you're going to go File, New. You're going to come to Print again and select A4. And we're going to call this Text Effect 2. You're going to want to change the background color from that red before to a white color. Once you have all that, you're just going to click Create. First thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to select the Type tool. So you press T, or you can left select it over here. And then we're going to draw out a box and we're going to write whatever word you would like. I'm going to use Mac. Leave the fill as black. Change it to a font that you like. I would say something blocky. And create a sizing that you like. But this is the sort of effect we're going for. Big, bold, and blocky text. Once you have it how you want it, you're going to put it in the center of your artboard by using your smart guides. Cool. Once you have that done, you want to select that text layer there, and then you're going to come over to this little sun over on the right, which opens up the appearance panel. You're going to want to select type, and then you're going to click this box here twice. For the first fill box, we are going to change it to a dark shade of orange. I'm going to use this color here. But again, you can do whatever color you would like. We are then going to select fill box 2, and we are going to click this effects panel down the bottom here. We're going to come down to distort and transform, and we're going to select transform. Now these are the values you're going to want to copy. So you just want to drag this slider up very slightly. So it's about, maybe just type it in, 0.4, and then the same on the bottom. Leave the angle as 0 and type copies as 5. Cool. That will create this little drop shadow blocky effect. If you want to make it more profound, all you need to do is do those steps again. So Command Z to undo, distort and transform. Transform. I'm going to go with 0.7 this time, and I think we might get a blocky effect happening. And I'm going to do 7 copies rather than 5. There we go. So this creates a cool little vintage style blocky text effect using the type tool on Illustrator. Again, if you continue writing, it will keep these effects for your for your other letters. Cool. For the final text effect, you're going to want to do what you did before and go File, New. For this one, we're going to do A4 again, but we're going to do it landscape. So come up to Print, select A4, and then come over here to Orientation. And you're going to want to select the landscape orientation. For the color of this one, we are going to go with an ocean blue. And we're going to call this Text Effect 3. Click Create. Should have something like that. The first thing we're going to use is the text tool. And just like before, we're going to create a bold text effect. And we're going to use the word deep. But again, you can use whatever word you would like. We're going to want to make it larger. So I'm going to go 85. Cool, once you got that, you want to come up to the direct selection tool. You can also press A. And you want to right click this shape and go create outlines. We're then going to use the eyedropper tool over here. So you can just press I, or you can left select it. And then you're going to want to make it the same color of your background. And you just do that by left clicking it. We're then going to press V. Next, we're going to come up to Effect, come down to 3D and Materials, come down to 3D Classic, and then we're going to select Extrude and Bevel. This should open up this little window, and then you want to click the More Options box. For the position, you want to do Isometric Top. You then want to come down to Blend Steps. We're going to make that 300. We want to tick Draw Hidden Faces. And we want to set the extrude depth to 150. Once you have all that done, click OK. We are then going to select Object again, come down to Expand Appearance, and then we're just going to resize this so it's bigger within our artboard. We're then going to use the Direct Selection tool again, so you can press A, and we are going to select all of these top faces. So you need to hold Shift and then click all the letters. So we're going to select all those faces. We're going to right click. We're going to click Cut. Then we're going to right click and then we're going to click Paste. And we're just going to move those back into position. Once you have all that done, you just want to come over to the selection tool. You want to select the whole shape, right click, and then go Make Clipping Mask. And you will get this cool embedded text effect like you can see here. Once you're done, put it in the middle, add your name so that I know that it's your work. Probably have to change the size over here. Put that somewhere. And then we are ready to export these files. So I'm just going to show you with this one here. The first thing you want to do is rename the artboard to the text effect you are doing. So you can call it text effect 3 for this one. May as well do it all at once. Text effect 2. And then text effect 1. You're then going to want to go File, Export for Screens. Save it to your desktop or multimedia folder. And again, we're going to use JPEG for the context of this tutorial. I would just use JPEG 100. Select Export Artboard, and then you'll see you have that text effect in that folder, like you can see there. So repeat those steps for text effects 1 and 2, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.